Okay, let's get going. Welcome back to our final Smallsword distance learning class, number 4. So today we're going to do something a little different. So we're going to cover the salute for the majority of class, and then we're going to go and we're going to do some a variety of exercises that you can do solo. So today's class might be a little bit shorter, but that's okay. It'll still be packed with information, and hopefully you'll get a lot out of it. So in discussing the salute, Angelo includes it and says that this is how you start a assault. So either a friendly bout in the fencing salé or something a little bit more serious. And in either case, why would one do the salute? So a salute is a way of basically showing respect. So you're showing respect to your opponent. If you have any spectators, so if you are in your school and you are surrounded by either members of the public or other members of your school, fellow fencers, or people from other fencing schools, this is a way of saying, I acknowledge all of you. I'm going to perform admirably for you. So it has other purposes. Angelo doesn't go into them exactly, but kind of generally the salute is the official start of some sort of exchange. So you don't just walk out and go. You walk out, you do the salute, and then there is the acknowledged point at which free play can begin to occur. So in the book, in Angelo's School of Fencing, if you have your own copy or not, so the salute does not actually start until page 17. So all before the salute is a discussion of carte, tierce, discussion of low carte and second, discussion of footwork and proper stance. So why does he wait until further into his book to begin a discussion of the salute versus, well, the salute's the first thing you do in an encounter? Wouldn't that be the first thing he discusses? So as we start to examine the salute, he's going to discuss specific hand motions. So he's going to say carte, he's going to say tierce, he's going to have us do leg positions. And I believe that he waits to discuss the salute until all of these building bricks are examined and until the student has fully learned them. So instead of going into a salute and saying, oh, start in a carte position, well, then you have to backtrack and explain, okay, what is a carte position? What is a tierce position to begin with? So it makes sense to me that he waits a little bit to start to discuss these items. So in 5 easy steps, we can do the full salute that would be done in a bit more formal setting. Whether people would do this actual full salute if they were out on the street and they found themselves in need of doing self-defense, I really doubt it. If it was something more formal, like a duel, perhaps. If it was in the salé, yes, it would definitely be seen there. So this this abomination is my hat, and this is a straw sun hat that I have pinned up into the likeness of a tricorn hat. So in the pictures, when Angelo is depicted grabbing a hat, he comes up to the side and he very naturally can either grab the point or just curl his hand over one of the sides. This is a rather floppy hat, so I will be grabbing on the point in the front. If you're working with something like a baseball cap, you just get to add a little extra flop as you put it on and take it off your head. So we're going to begin. If we were to begin the full salute, where we would start, we would be starting blade on blade contact with our opponent in the position of tierce. So just for the sake of imagination, I'm going to start with my sword with the tip actually on my pad. And to me, I'm going to think, okay, this is starting in the Angar position, blade on blade contact with my opponent. And so position, first step, we're going to start in the position of tierce. And tierce is going to be a little bit to the outside, remember? Fingernails down. And the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to start tapping our foot on the ground. And Angelo says to do 3 taps, 2 with the heel, 1 with the entire flat of your foot. And so these, he goes into a little bit later in the book, are called appels. So just, you know, striking, making noise, getting attention. You can use them to fake people out. And so in this case, that is our kind of beginning announcements. I am starting my salute. So in the position of tierce, we're going to go heel, heel, foot. At that point, we raise our hand up to our hat and we get ready to take it off. So grab wherever is comfortable. And that's the end of step 1. So step 1, heel, heel, foot, grab. So for step 2, we're going to have a couple different moving parts. So we're going to break them down. So our left hand is going to be grabbing our hat and taking it off. Our right arm is going to be rolling up into cart, but an extreme cart very high on our right side. And then our front leg, our right leg, is going to be slipping backwards. So let's examine those 3 kind of moving parts separately. So first one, let's do the hat because that one's fun. So our hat is up and grabbing, and we're going to take it off, and we're going to drop it back nice and long behind our body with the opening of the hat upward. So taking it on, sweeping it down. And you can be as dramatic as you want. You can be as, you know, quick, as basic as you want. This is going to be a fun night, so go ahead and do a little flourish, however the spirit moves you. So that'll be our left hand. As we're doing that, our right arm is going to roll up from tierce into cart. And we're going to have this nice, elegant, he calls it a drooping point. So from tierce, well, I'm sorry, from cart up to tierce, point down, arm extremely to the right. This step 2, so this is going to be our salute. If we are surrounded by a crowd, this is going to be our salute to the people on our right side. So going from tierce, rolling it up. And as I do this, I kind of imagine I'm gazing off over my hand and I'm looking at the crowds. So my crowds to my right, I salute you. Then, adding the last moving part is going to be our leg. So if we're in a good normal stance, we're going to take our lead foot and we're going to slip it back. And as we do that, both of our legs are going to be straightened. Our right toe should ideally be by your left heel, and they should be at a 90-degree angle. So if I show it from point on, I slip back. And there we go. So heel to heel, 90 degree. If you don't have that flexibility in your ankles, you know, that's okay. Don't kill yourself about it. What's more important is to do it in a smooth, graceful manner. Okay, so let's go through those 3 steps simultaneously, but pretty slowly. So hats on, we're in the position of tierce to begin with. We have just done our lapels, and we have a good grasp of our hat. So, hat off, arm up, slip back. And as you can see, my weight is moving back a little bit. To have both legs be straight, your weight should be about balanced in between them. So again, while maintaining, a good gaze forward instead of turning to talk to the camera, I go up. Okay. So that's step 2. Now, step 3 is much shorter. So if step 2 is acknowledging the people on your right side, step 3 is going to be acknowledging the people on your left side. So as we end in step 2, feet together, hat gracefully extended backward, cart far to the right, and all we're going to do is drop our arms slightly, lift up the point, and this is going to be our salute to the left-hand side. So again, that motion is just so from a nice drooping high cart, lift the point up and drop the hand a little bit. And this is the salute to your left side. So I like to put a little bit of head motion. So right, left. Okay. So we have just saluted the left side. And now we are going to return to tierce. So as we do this, again, we're going to have 3 moving parts. The hat's going to go back on top. The wrist is going to go from cart down to tierce again. And this time, our left foot is going to travel backward and reestablish a good stance. So if we just kind of practice the hat motion, and getting it smoothly on, and then returning your hand to an up high, nice lofted position. For our right hand, we're going to go from the cart, saluting our left side, and just return it back to a normal tierce position. So this would be salute the right, salute the left, return to tierce. And then our leg, we're going to take our left leg, return it backward, and reestablish a good rear-weighted stance immediately. So let's put all those 3 things together now. So where we ended at step 3, hat back, saluting the left side. So reestablish in tierce again. Okay. So that is step 4. So one more step, and then we'll run through it all together a few times. So step 4, we're kind of back where we were at step 1. We're in the position of tierce. We are wearing our hat. So we've saluted the left and we've saluted the right. Who haven't we saluted yet? Well, our opponent. So this last step is going to be addressing a person that we are about to engage with. So in my mind, I kind of think of saving the best for last, kind of saving the most important one, the person you're going to be, engaged with, for the last salute. So if we are now again in the tierce position, hand lofted nice and high, we are going to, again, using our left leg, but first we're going to do the 3 lapels again. heel, heel, flat foot. We're going to bring our rear leg forward, again to the left heel, right toe position. And then we're going to drop our rear arm. And as we do that, we're again going to roll up into cart and keep it nice and high, nice and centered, and about level at eye height, Angelo says. So something like this. So if I was to do it facing here, and roll. And then after that, so that is step 5. Step 5 ends in this position. Now to come out of this, it's up to your choice. As soon as you assume a guard, coming out of that position after you salute your opponent is when the match actually begins. So Angelo says that a lot of times people go down back into tierce. Sometimes they'll need to retreat right away. If we start with blade on blade, slip back once with the right, slip back once with the left, forward with the left, back. We're going to be in pretty close contact. So there'll be 2 people moving forward and back, but you will end in quite close distance. So let me get a drink. Okay, so let's go through this a little bit more. And as we go through this, again, because I've been dabbling in Baroque dancing, I want you to really think about your comportment. So personal theory is that the salute was not just to show respect to your opponents and to your school and to spectators. This was also a chance for you to show off. This was a chance for you to demonstrate your balance and your gracefulness and your agility, your coordination. You know, if you go out and you did a salute and you dropped your hat, or if your appels were feeble and unimpressive, or as you slipped your leg, if you had bad posture. Angelo is looking for what he calls a genteel deportment and a graceful air. So I don't pretend to know a lot about Baroque dancing. I'm just scratching the surface, but a lot of these motions, especially the taking off of the hat and the using the hat for gestures, there's a lot of overlap. So as we go through these, really think about uplifting your carriage. You have a line from the ground up through your spine and up through the top of your head. Keep your head nice and lofted, gazing out over your sword. Don't look down at the ground at your feet. You need to acknowledge your adoring fans, your peers, scope out the competition, show off, you know, your clothing, you know, show off your new sword. This is your chance to be in the center of attention, and you should enjoy it. It shouldn't make you nervous. If you get nervous when people are looking at you now doing the salute, how are you going to feel when you're in an actual bout, actually sparring? So, okay, let's start from the top. Sword on the pad, hats on, and we're in tierce. And heel, heel, foot, grab the hat, hat off, right leg back, hand up into cart, and we're saluting the right. Now, dropping cart, turning to look to our left, we're saluting the left. Now, slip the leg back, hat on, sword is again rotated into tierce. Heel, heel, foot, arm drop, back leg up, nice straight cart at eye level, And we are resumed in tears. Okay. So let's do it 2 or 3 more times and kind of feel we're going through everything very, very mechanically. But as you practice this yourself, go ahead and feel the rhythm. You know, and as you loft your wrist up nice and high and pause, dramatic pause, salute, salute, back. Kind of feel how your weight shifts like you're dancing, right? So, one more time. Point on the pad, position of tierce, and heel, heel, foot, grab the hat, slip the leg, cart to your right, cart to your left, slip the bag back again and hat up, in tierce again, and heel, heel, foot, salute our opponent, there, and ready to fight. So I'm going to do this last one facing at the camera. So I won't be touching the pad. You can go ahead and face the camera too if you'd like, or start with your pad if you feel comfortable with it. So I am in tierce and heel, heel, foot, grab, saluting the right, saluting the left, rolling back to tierce, heel, heel, foot. I salute you, you salute me, and we start to fight. Okay, so let's do 2 or 3 more of those on your own. My internet is working a little bit better today, so I can see other people's videos. I just kind of want to see how people are doing, where I need to see if there's any areas I need to go back to and cover more. So if everybody just wants to give a shot on their best salute, please. Oh, this is looking really good. I know you guys can't see this, but a few of you are just coincidentally doing this kind of in time with each other, and it looks impressive. It looks pretty cool. Okay. So one area, then let's kind of go over a little bit again, is getting that straight leg while we're standing. So I'm seeing some bent knees, and if you bend your knees, this is a more comfortable position. Really try and straighten the legs. So this, from my 2 years of ballet in grade school, this feels very balletic to me. So nice and lofted high. Good. So just to kind of show you what these positions look like. So here is the second portion of the salute. Where is it? Oh, so you can kind of see how straight his legs are. Toe and heel aren't quite touching in this position, but if you drew a line, they would go from the heel to the toe. So we're going to go through this 2 more times, and then we're going to move on to some of the solo drills. So I'm not going to count these out. So feel free to do these at a speed that you feel comfortable with, and we will move on. Okay. So we won't be using our hats anymore. You know, if you want to wear your hat, if you enjoy that, by all means, you know. I, however, am going to take mine off because it is just a little bit too small for me and tends to fall around. Okay, so the only drills I'm going to cover in real detail today are the ones that actually either come from the School of Fencing or are somewhat inspired by it. I will say that, you know, foil is basically a direct descendant of Smallsword. So if you look, there are a lot of resources designed more for classical fencing and for modern Olympic foil, and there's going to be a lot of crossover. Uh, so a lot of those drills that are put out by Center for Blade Arts out of Minneapolis, for example, or you know Benjamin Arms, a lot of those are going to have they're going to be applicable to Smallsword as well. So feel free to go out there and try it. If it's useful for you, wonderful. If it's not useful for you, don't do it or keep looking. You know, the internet is a rabbit hole of fencing drills and fencing aids, kind of like we were doing with the potato masher. You know, there's a world of hanging balls and hanging hoops and moving targets that you can use. So go ahead and be creative. But so for the ones that we're going to cover today, so one of the ones that Angela recommends you practice quite a bit is going to be your disengage from cart to tierce. So if we're in cart and we need to go to tierce, we're going to be making that a nice small motion. Now, as we do it, we are going to have to be likely dipping under our opponent's blade. If you happen to have the obstacle that we were using last week, mine fell off sadly. The tape dried up and it came off. But that will give you some sort of physical barrier that will force you to go underneath it. So for today, I'm just going to use my imagination and I'm going to use the black diamond on my pad. So if I'm standing at my pad and I'm standing in a good posture and I'm starting in cart and I just want to disengage to tierce. Now you can do this under anything handy. This old fridge has a handle that I've used before. People can use a doorknob. And you just want to practice. You want to keep your disengages nice and small. You don't want your tip to either hit that obstruction, if it's there, or visually for me, I'm looking and I'm making sure that my tip is not traveling outside the diamond. I'm trying to keep it as close to the surface as possible without touching. And this is working several things. So not only are we practicing good position for tierce and cart, but we are also, you know, activating our back muscles. We have our rear arm lofted high. If we are in a good correct stance, we should start to feel it in our left leg after a while. So all these things are combining. So you're doing holds as the only thing that's moving should be your wrist and your forearm of your right hand, right arm. And you can do this very slowly and exactly. You can start to work and do quickness. You can pick some of the things and you can, you know, kind of play with them. Do so many reps, do every minute on the minute. There's a lot, you know, a lot to do. Just use your creativity. So that's one of them. A little bit later, we didn't really cover this, but there is a certain type of parry called the circle parry. So the circle parry is just that. It's as if excuse me. It's as if you are drawing a small circle with the tip of your blade. Or in tierce. Now, there's more to the circle parade than that. It's kind of hard to get into, but basically you're using it to carry your opponent's blade to a different opening, from an area where they are to an area where you want them to be. But we can practice that same motion on the pad. So if we were doing the circle to tierce, disengage, it's almost like we're making a little half circle underneath as our wrist changes position. Now, our wrist is going to be in the same position, and using just the muscles of our hands and our fingers, we're going to be doing those circles. So I'm not even really moving at the elbow. I'm not even really moving at the wrist. I'm relaxing my hand and I'm tightening my hand. This is Rebel, and he is getting the boot. Same for tierce. So if we're in the tierce position, it's more in the hand and a tiny bit in the wrist. But you can kind of see, like, I'm not really using my forearm at all. I'm not really using my elbow at all. And if I was at the target, I would again try my hardest to keep it within the black circle. If you had an obstacle, like a doorknob or something, if it was very, very shallow, if it was very close to the target, this would work as well. So, okay. And then the last two, so these are ones we covered a little bit in lesson 2, but let's go back to them again. So this will be a thrust with a close recover of the foot. So if we were in cart, we would be doing the right foot back all the way to the left. If we're doing tierce, it'll be the left foot all the way up to the right. So these positions should feel very similar to you after we did the salute. I'm gonna go kick him out. But what are you doing? He is adorable, but very, very needy. So, okay, so let's start with an example or two in cart. So if we just thrusted at our target like normal in cart, oh geez, I was doing the wrong one. And then recover normally would be like that. Instead of doing that, we're going to want to recover with our right foot all the way snug up against our left leg. So reset, lunge, and I can feel it's very easy to kind of tip over backward, kind of lean too much and overcompensate backwards. That one felt better. So as you recover, just enough to not really have to wobble or fight. Find your balance and then reset into cart. Good. Okay, now if we were to do tierce, in the tierce position, we're going to recover forward. So we'll be bringing our rear leg all the way up past the heel, such that our left heel is going to be at a 90-degree angle to our right toe. So let's do 1 or 2 kind of normal tierce thrusts just to get the feel for that. So that's normal. Another normal one, feeling pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to recover forward from my thrust. And I kind of have to drop my arm down a little bit, but that's okay. The focus of this exercise is going to be your legs and your lower body. So reset. And cover forward. So if I did this kind of at the camera, just so you can kind of see a little bit differently. So cart, I thrust, I recover backward. Tierce, I thrust, I recover forward. Let me do that one a little farther back. Forward. Good. Another modern thing I forgot to mention was we've mentioned in earlier classes kind of about Myers Square, the Senyo. There are all sorts of drills out there that use this. We have in Smallsword also 4 openings. So just following the pattern, you know, following the circles in and out, doing descending numbers, doing ascending numbers, doing all the 1s, doing all the 2s, all the 3s, all the 4s. If you have numbers and you have dice, there's also a wide selection of dice games you can play. So rolling the dice, getting kind of a random string to do. So thrusts, parries, stuff like that. You know, I can put some resources up in the group. There's some ones that I found useful and fun. So, and if people have their, you know, specific drill that they have found especially useful or that they like, especially fun, they should feel free to share those too in the group. So that's kind of all I had today. So this has been a this has been a real adventure teaching online, but I've had a blast. So I'm probably going to take these classes and I'm going to make them into a playlist.
Sarah?
Oh yeah.
You got some stuff in chat.
Oh yeah. I'll get to the questions. This was like my thank you for being my good students. So anyway, people have been really you know, really taking things in stride with me, and I really appreciate that. So let me there we go. Okay, so the question is, why are the exercises set up to recover forward for one thrust and back for the other? Why not alternate? That's a good question, and I can't really tell you why not.
In my experience, there is nothing sacred about it. I'm not sure why it's listed there, but in my experience, I've done both, and it works fine either way.
Yeah, no, Mika, I would say if you want to mix it up, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah,
so
it seemed to me that it would be useful to kind of learn to recover forward and backward from both types of thrusts, but I didn't know if there was some sort of
So this is one thing is this is the way we're recovering in those particular drills. That is not especially seen in other thrusts when they're actually teaching those thrusts. So this is kind of an affectation that we're doing in these drills. There is one example of a passing step, but the passing step motion is extremely rare in Smallsword. So So it's good to practice. It's good to practice for balance and other reasons, but don't worry too much about it. Like, oh, I need to get this down because it's going to be very prevalent later in the book, because it's really not. So, yeah, so let's open it up to questions. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to know?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
So when we're recovering to these 90-degree angles, which look a lot like, you know, ballet second position almost, and then with this coming through at the 90-degree, doesn't that make you really vulnerable to being like pushed over?
Yeah, yeah. So, and
up with that, because if someone were to shove you or even just kind of push you with the sword, it seems like you'd be super vulnerable.
So, and that kind of actually goes along with the passing step comment. So these positions where the heels are tight together, we see those in the salute, we see those in these specific drills, but when we're actually discussing the other movements, like the actual thrust that you might use in a encounter, you don't do that. This is just to kind of practice your balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are just.
As far as the gathering step or moving forward or back, those are very momentary positions. You don't stand there for long periods of time. It's just a momentary as you're moving forward or back.
Yeah.
But even a moment there with your heel and toe squared off just seems questionable.
Yeah. No, this makes you really focus on your balance. And this is not a position I would want to sit in for a long time comfortably. This is something to achieve the balance, and I have my balance, and I'm moving on. Like, I would not sit here and try and engage with somebody with my heels together. No, that would not end well.
Or when you're gathering backwards, is there a slip movement like there is in broadsword or saber?
I do not recall reading about that in School of Fencing. No. No, for retreating, it is very much the lead with the back foot, follow with the front foot. Like this kind of motion, there's the double advance. I am not aware of a similar double retreat.
There is. I'm not sure that's an Angelo, but there definitely is a passing to the rear, the arrears or whatever.
Yep, and everybody adds a tiny little bit of flavor to their work as they write it. And offhand, I don't believe it's an Angelo, but yeah, I can be getting my sources mixed up. So,
if you're dealing with a modern fencer, they might call that a volt, although a volt is more of a inquartata, which is an Italian term, but modern fencing, they refer to the passing to the rear as a volt.
So
this is Terry. I just want to mention something that you're talking about, the disengages and then the circle parries. I don't know if people caught on to it, but a circle parry is an ideal counter to a disengage.
You're basically chasing the blades around then. Yep. The circle. But yep, no, circle engage is a lot of fun. And I really hope people get a copy of Angelo and start learning some of these things themselves. You just need one other person. You just need 2 people. That's all you need. So that is my plug for Domenico Angelo today. So, okay. Well, if we don't have any more questions, thank you all again so much for coming to my class. Hope you enjoyed them. I know I did. And I hope to see you guys again in person soon.
Very nice job. Very nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.